everyone, welcome to the Resilience Element Show, and I am so happy today because I'm with someone that I really appreciate, and that is Gary Mahler. Gary Mahler is a coach, was my coach, is my coach, should be your coach. Might be difficult to be though. But thank you so much for joining the Resilience Element Show, Gary.
Thank you so much, Francis. It's a pleasure to be here. I've seen how this has grown from inside of you to something that's manifested in the world, and I'm so proud of you and really inspired by you because of all this. So, no brainer to be on the show with you.
Wow, good way to start. You know, Gary, I think that for me, some people might not know yet, we were reviewing the components of the resilience element. And the resilience element is made of 5 components. So the first one is clarity, the second one is conviction, third one is certainty, and then you have commitment and courage. And I thought that for you, you'd be the best representative of what I call the certainty. And a lot of people I'm one, you're one, we all have our stories. It's going bad sometimes, it's a difficult time. And I thought that I'd like to share a little bit, you can share your story about resilience and make that link with certainty, because I know that there's absolutely something valuable for all the listeners right now.
For sure. No, I agree with you. Certainty is the foundation, I think, of my life. And not a certainty so much in terms of myself, but a certainty in life, in the universe, in universal mind, God, whatever you want to call it. But I just have this certainty that I will be able to create my life, that we're all given this. And then the more that I can just filter myself, egoic self out of it and just get to be what I consider pure love, the creation just happens, but it comes from a certainty that no matter what, I will find the strength somewhere, and that strength comes inside.
And you say that, and it's years and years of personal development, right? I mean, can you relate an event where it kind of triggered all that certainty in your life?
It has been just this evolving, and what I call it is an erosion of the ego. So I've got 2 young babies. I'm an old guy, and I got a 15-month-old daughter and a son who's going to be 4 next month. I have seen my son go from no ego to starting to have a big ego. My daughter still doesn't have one. They have a certainty. No matter what, they have a certainty about daddy. They call daddy, they know daddy is there. What happens over time is we lose our certainty because we get worn down by life. Events happen, and then it teaches us things, and we're good learners. And then we find coping mechanisms that perhaps some of them are not the best. Limiting beliefs, some people turn to alcohol or eating. All of these things happen, and over time we get defeated, we get worn down. My journey from 8 until around 40 has been this thing of building ego, and around 40 it has been dissolving ego. So basically, in order to gain certainty, I've had to reduce my thoughts about myself to connect to something larger than myself.
So do you remember a pivotal moment that's something, because I mean it's a long time building from 8 to 40.
Yeah.
His ego was big.
It was it was really big. I was running, about a $10 million company. So everything was about me. I delivered the value to the company, to the customers. If you were helping me, you were my best friend. If you did something to make me look bad, you heard about it. It was bad. I was a real dick. More so than I was not so nice sometimes. Number one event, I knew something wasn't right because I started fainting at work all over. Stress was overwhelming. I was not happy. I just started realizing there's more to life. If I continue at 65, I'll have like a lot of money, and I'm just going to say, what was my life about? On a business trip to Japan, I went to this temple, and I knew there was a Buddha inside, but I wasn't that interested. As soon as I walk in, I feel this cool air, and then I look and I see this Buddha, and I just see this peace, and I remember I said, I want that. I didn't, and I said it out loud, and people are looking at me like, what do you know, Japanese are like, what's this guy talking? Is he crazy? But the words, I want that, and what it was, I want that peace. So I think this is the foundation of what we want to talk about for me, is when we have this want that we know with conviction that we can achieve. It's not a yearning like, I want it, I can't have it. It's like, I want that, and I will do everything in my power to create that. That was the first steps. So for about 5 years, learning a bit about meditation, learning about slowing down, learning about taking time away from work, learning about just reading that I don't need to react right away, that I can respond. So that changed my mind automatically. Like they said, oh, breathe 90 seconds, let your anger calm down. And suddenly, over 4 or 5 years, people are noticing, oh, Gary's changing, there's something different. So that was the first point, was that Buddha, I want that. And then from there, big changes in my life. I had to end a relationship. I was in a marriage before that I had to end. That was very hard. Felt very guilty around that. From there, opening up to what I wanted next.
And what I like about your story is that it's also probably a feeling, a big feeling, right? When you were in that temple, you felt it, and by being mindful, we start to reconnect with what we really want.
Yeah, completely.
And and then you had that challenge, and I remember you stayed quite a while in Japan, and you also met someone who is the mother of those beautiful child.
That's correct.
But I don't think it was always easy, right?
It was not easy. And this was much later down the line that I met her. And it's funny, Japan also has a big portion about the next part of the evolution. If you want to hear about it.
I'd like to. Just about, can you expand on that?
I met someone who happened to be Japanese. We were dating. She was living here. And what happened was she went home and we didn't really have a plan. What are we going to do next? We hadn't seen each other for a few months. We met up on the big island of Hawaii, and it was just so fantastic to see her again. And I remember her asking, you know, do you want children? You know, it's like,
Never even thought of that.
never. I did think about it. The answer was always no, but a voice from inside of me said, yes, I'd like to have children, and I'd love to have a daughter, and I want to name her Kona. We were near Kona, Hawaii. I do have a daughter named Kona, and she's 15 months. Not fast forward, like just boop. 3 weeks later, we broke up. She's like, you are not committed. Boom. 6 months of my life, they were the worst 6 months of my life ever. I went so deep into despair, and I decided I'm going to have to finally put my money where my mouth is and just stop everything. No more dating, no more this, no more fooling around. I'm going to just go to work, and then I'm going to come home and I'm going to put the blinds down, and I'm going to just be with me and see what's going on inside.
So that part of certainty is also acting in a way that's consistent with what you want.
Completely.
Because before you might have said something, but then you were still doing other things.
That's right.
And so it's not consistent with that plan.
That's correct.
So a lot of us, sometimes we have a plan to do something, but then when we really look at it, there's inner conflicts because it doesn't really match other things.
That's correct.
So would that be part of the certainty, the way you would describe how
Completely.
you decided, and at one point you decided, okay, I'm all in.
I'm all in. I was all in to finding out what about me made it that she did not want me anymore. 3 weeks ago, we're talking about kids, and then boom, I actually flew to Tokyo over New Year's Eve for 4 days to see what was going on, because I had an idea things aren't going good. It was so amazing, and then 3 weeks, boom. But she had a change of heart. I went there. 3 days later, we're on the phone. I said, I think we shouldn't be together. She said, I think you're right, and we're done. Communication stopped for 2.5, 3 months. Fortunately, I had worked with a Gestalt therapist who was kind of my mentor. I went back to see her, and she just helped me to deal with the grief. And that grief also healed all grief and past rejections and failures and hurts. I worked so deep on this, and then part of our work was forward thinking. She said one thing. She said, what if you're a creative guy? What if you would create an invitation? So I went on the computer, created a beautiful invitation with all of the pictures in the past. I sent it with gifts with a friend who brought it to Japan. The friend brought it to Japan and never gave it to the girl, and then brought it back and then mailed it. So I'm like, oh my God, like it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And at that point, I needed to really trust. I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on. Around 6 weeks later, I said, I need to send this invite electronically. Mm-hmm. I remember I was in my office at work, and I was scared because I really hadn't had contact with her. And I remember telling my mom, I'm going to send this. I sent it. Within 10 minutes, I got a reply, that's so weird. I just got your package in the mail. I think I'm coming. I get goosebumps as I'm saying, I think I'm coming. I had hope. I had hope. My whole life changed. She came a couple of weeks later. We spent 10 days together, and then she became very clear. If this is going to work, you need to come to me. So you're imagining, I'm running this company. Mm-hmm. I have a short period of time. I've got to make a decision. How am I going to make this work? So it's a family business. So I go in, tell my family, I'm going to Japan. And it's going to be quicker than we think. It'll be within 2 months. I was gone in 6 weeks. I hired somebody to replace me. I would work online, and that was my foray into it. But this all in and this certainty, like once she said, this is what I need from you, and I wanted adventure, that was my way to step out of my current life.
Would that be true if the way I interpret that thing is that for people that are watching, let's say they have something that's very important, like it was, because you had so much conviction, is first of all, it's coming from your heart.
Completely. This was the most heart that I've ever had in my life.
So when you have something like that, then I guess the question to have certainty is, what can I do to become the person I want to be with that goal? Who do I need to become? What do I need to do? And not just 90%, not just 95, 99, 100%.
It was 100%, and it became so clear to me that I could not guarantee that she would say yes to come, first of all, and number two, that when she came, that maybe it was done. So I had to be so ready that that was equally possible to the other thing, and essentially I had to say, whether it's this or this, I am okay with it.
That's huge.
That was huge. And what was so freeing was it was coming from this place like, I want you back to, I've done this, and I'm at the place where you agreed to see me. And she will tell you, I was never going to be with that guy again, but when I received that invitation that was created lovingly, I said yes. When we spent 10 days together, and then you opened up your heart in a way that you never had before, that told me that there is a chance. And I knew if I didn't tell you what I wanted, you would not fulfill it. So I had to be very clear with you. And once you committed, then it was there. So essentially, we talk about letting go of the outcome. Yeah. I let go of the outcome that we might not be together, but I knew if it was no, I had done my grieving, I was ready for the next door. And the next door that would open was actually a very big door, and it involved, because I had done this work, leaving the company, working less there, traveling, meeting other women, whatever. It made me feel better, but I just knew at this point I had this confidence that if it's not this, it's this, but I will trust. So when we talk about trust or certainty, I was certain that I would be taken care of.
I really appreciate it. I don't know if I was transcended just by watching Gary. He's my coach, so obviously I'm always listening. And what I really like is detach from the outcome, because that is huge. And that's something I've learned from you big time, is because we all have, I think sometimes people are trying to have some guarantees. Yeah. I'm just only going to jump in if, but at one point or the other, having that mentality, mindset of going in all in, regardless of the outcome.
That's it.
Knowing that you'll be good, you'll be fine.
Because you've done the work.
What I like about you is that you really went all in, like we mentioned, and now we realize that the reason what it brought to you in your life by going all in, regardless of the outcome, is actually the foundation of what you do right now.
Exactly.
So that moment where you decided you were I'm resilient. I'm going.
Yep.
I'm just gonna do it no matter what.
No matter what.
Good. I'm detached from the outcome, and
I'm good with whatever
it sits
happens.
well with me. I know what I want. Now is your life.
It is my life, and I get to every day go deeper and deeper, and then the more deep that I go, there's just more and more that I share with my clients, and I don't even have to worry. They come to me. I'm at this point in my life where life is just a circumstance. Life is just a circumstance for me to meet people, to help in their transformation, to transform the world. When I was down and out, I said to myself, I want to find a happiness that no one can take away from me, that I can give away freely. And this is what I do every day. That was what came to me. And that's all that I do. So everything I do, I show up and I'm just Gary, and I'm becoming more and more Gary that doesn't really care. I will tell truth. I will be loving but fierce, but I will just see through not who I think I am, who I think you are, who you think you are, who you think I am. I'm just here with you. I'm here with you. I don't even know you. But this is my goal. I'll end it by telling you my goal this year is to dismiss all dismissive thoughts. So what that means, if I have a bad thought about me, I dismiss it. If I have a judgment about someone because they push my buttons, I dismiss it. All I want to be is pure love that's powerful and fierce. And my I am statement is, I am the best man, I am the best husband, I am the best father, I am the best coach. If I do that every day, it's an adventure. The decision to be happy is just that. When we decide to be happy, everything else falls away. So when I say that, that decision to be happy is, a thought comes up, I can hold on to it or I can let it go. My decision is to be happy. My wife says something that is maybe not so loving. I can hold my tongue and let it pass, and I can be happy. Not being a doormat, but the whole reason why I'm dismissing all dismissive thoughts, if I dismiss my thought of anything bad, the guy that cut me off, I'm happy. I'm choosing happiness over everything. It's all material that I use to create from.
And you create your life. Like you said, you designed it.
Design it.
You have that foundation now that people are so lucky to have you as a coach.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about how we can reach you, but thank you so much, Gary.
Thanks.
You're
Thank
the
you,
best.
Francis.
I would hug you right now, but we know what's going to happen with the mic. Thank you for watching the Resilience Element Show. Gary Mahler, coach in Vancouver and internationally, because if we can talk to him anywhere we are, thank you so much.
Thank you, Francis.